everybody, my name is Xuul, and welcome to another episode of the Skyrim Mod Showcase. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at Ordinator, Perks of Skyrim. This mod is a perk overhaul for Skyrim, obviously, by the name that I said at the beginning. This mod adds 418 glorious perks that allow you to have many new viable character builds. It is lightweight, so it does not bloat up your saves, it is compatible with a lot of mods, and of course, it's awesome. That's why I'm showing it to you here. So kind of similar to how I did my perma video, I'm going to take a look at a couple of cross sections and talk about some perks. I'm going to try and keep this video a little bit shorter than that. Let me know if you'd like me to do a detailed guide on the different categories and all that stuff, because I would be happy to do that. Without further ado though, let's get started. Speech! Alright, so the speech tree. This has taken a fairly major departure from vanilla Skyrim, although a lot of the base of what made speech is still there. So I'm going to kind of break down the branches of the trees and show you a couple of cool perks. The first of which you'll notice in the background is the performer branch. This branch of perks allows you to perform music. At first, simply in town just to raise some money for yourself, but later on in combat using the earthquake drum, which can heal you and your companion, knock people back, and even kill any enemies around you, as you can see here. There is also business related perks which allow you to get better prices with merchants, invest in their shops and things like that, including a really interesting one use only perk that allows you to make a merchant your best friend. This will reduce prices with that specific merchant, but you can only use this perk once. And this is kind of part of an overall theme in this mod that makes perks really impactful. So some perks are incredibly powerful but can only be used once your entire playthrough. This kind of emphasizes having kind of a home base, which kind of changes the way you play the game. So for example, if you have your home in Whiterun, you're going to want to use the business relation for a merchant in Whiterun. Finally, speech does have some shout skills, and it's not the crazy amount of shout skills that you would get from something like Skyrim or Perma, but it is still really cool, reducing cooldowns, allowing you to use new and interesting shouts. Crafting! The crafting skills in this mod are all about choices and trade-offs. Many of the vanilla stuff is still in there with a bunch of enhanced things that actually affect your gameplay. For example, you can create an advanced version of each of the tools, but you may only do so once. And this will allow you to have, for example, an advanced grindstone or an advanced alchemy table, which will allow you to improve items beyond their regular scope. However, since you can only make one of each of these, you're going to have to be careful of where and when you use it. Later on, there's also perks that will allow you to specialize in a single type of weapon. This is very interesting in that you're never going to be able to be the jack of all trades. You can have a sword-based character, but you're never going to be able to make everything to the best of your ability. The enchanting tree also features some interesting trade-offs. The capstone skill for this allows you to create one uber level enchantment. It allows you to put 3 enchantments on a single item that are 50% stronger, but you can never do this again. The same base crafting skills are still there from Skyrim, but there's just more to it. There's a lot more gameplay when it comes to the crafting skills. It makes it very interesting. You're no longer going to be able to make 1,000 of the great ancient legendary best sword in the world. You are now going to be a tradesman who can perhaps make one single masterpiece in his life, so it's best to make it count. Some people may not like it, but I really love trade-offs when it comes to perks. It allows you to make interesting choices while playing a game, and this perk tree seems to do pretty well in that regard. Destruction! The Destructions tree in Ordinator focuses on 3 different spell schools: Fire, Ice, and Lightning. This is very similar to how other perk mods actually go ahead and do the same thing. However, this mod adds a bunch of side effects to the Destruction spells, which I think is a very interesting take. So in vanilla Skyrim, the Destruction tree is basically just you blasting spells over and over and over, and that's it. And instead of trying to change that, the Destruction tree in Ordinator both encourages that while still giving you some interesting effects to play with. So what do I mean by that? Well, there's a perk called the Pyromancer's Ascension that basically charges up the more fireballs you cast until you reach an ascended state, and then can cast some super damaging fire spells that cost nothing. It's kind of an interesting take on it because it basically encourages you to spam spells. On the flip side, there are things like adding fire to lightning, so when you shock someone, it'll set them on fire. You can blow somebody up with a fireball and their corpse will turn to ashes and set on fire, creating environmental damage. There's skills that allow you to be a better battle mage, allowing you to dual cast with a single hand, and even an ultimate ability that allows you to levitate up into the air, blast your enemies back with a massive bolt of magic, and weaken them to your abilities. It's a very interesting tree, and I love that it's a lot less spammy in this mod. Stealth! Ordinator improves the challenge and the dynamic gameplay of the stealth trees. In the vanilla game, sneaking around was rather overpowering and boring. You were basically a god, no one would see you, nobody would ever be able to detect you, and you could just pull the armor right off of people's backs and kill them. It was, well, rather amusing, not very fun gameplay-wise. This mod fixes that by adding some dynamic elements and some minigame elements to sneaking, lockpicking, and all of that stuff. What do I mean by minigame elements? Well, for example, the lockpicking skill gains a bonus to your loot if you lockpick the chest faster, puts a little bit of pressure on you. There's also a pickpocket perk, which when you enter a town will sometimes randomly mark a civilian and give them better loot if you pick their pocket without being detected. There's stealth perks that allow you to stand behind a guard without being detected for a certain amount of time to increase your damage against them, or putting items in their pockets to make them die instantly. Kind of interesting things like that. One of the things that I really like is the marked loot system. So when you break into someone's house, if you have a specific perk, there is a chance that there will be more loot in a single secret glowing chest. Later on, you can also get a perk which will allow you to get perk points from master locked chests very rarely. You can also hack Dwemer automatons using the lockpick skill, something that, well, we've seen in the past, allowing you to control Dwemer objects. I have not seen it implemented in this way, and I think it's honestly brilliant. Lockpick is such a boring tree, but I would always take it because I'm a sucker for loot. Having the ability to hack into a Dwemer automaton and shut it down, reducing it to 1 health, and then later on hacking into it and turning it to your side is awesome, and I can't believe it hasn't been done before. There's a bunch of other cool stuff, including bear traps and a lot of stuff we've seen in other mods. Overall, the stealth tree is so much better and so much more satisfying. Overall, Ordinator is an awesome mod that you should download. It changes the way you play, even to the very core level. For example, when I was playing with it over the last couple of days, I felt really incentivized to have a home base. So Whiterun, for example, was where I hung out because that's where I made my merchant buddy, and that's why I could sell stuff better to him. I also created my advanced workbench here, so really anytime I was done traveling, I would come back to Whiterun and breeze home. I couldn't do my crafting just anywhere, which kind of makes sense. The mod also just kind of made the gameplay overall more interesting and more refreshing. So if you're looking at a new take on Skyrim, if you're looking to do a new playthrough, download Ordinator because it is well worth the play. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Please check out some of my other videos. If you'd like to see me to do a kind of a more in-depth look at this mod, let me know. This video is going on kind of long, so I'm just going to talk really fast. Check out some of my other stuff. Check out how I spotlighted some mods for Fallout, and I'm doing a Fallout mod organizer tutorial. Check out my KOTOR mods. Check out all that wonderful stuff. Like, subscribe, dislike, post a picture of yourself on the internet and tag me on it in Twitter for no reason at Xuul_. I've been Xuul. I hope you have an excellent day. Bye! Oh, and enjoy the new end slate.